Hey there, welcome to the second episode of my Battlefield 6 Weapons Guide. Today, we will be covering the first weapon in the Carbine category of weapons, a personal favorite from the Battlefield 6 open beta, the M4A1. Please, do enjoy the briefing. Available very early on in the game, the M4A1 is unlocked in Battlefield 6 multiplayer at rank 2. Another fully automatic weapon, you can use the selector switch to go semi-auto, but I struggle to think of this as a selling point due to the Carbine's lower damage at range. More on this later. Coming out of the land of the free by US-based Cont manufacturing company, the original designation of the weapon is the Colt Model 921. Battlefield 6 opts to use its military designation as given by the US Army, a familiar name that we've all come to know and love, the M4A1. Spending roughly a decade in design before being adopted into service in 1994, it is still actively used not only by the United States, but by upwards of 60 plus nations worldwide. The M4A1 is part of the long-running M16 family of rifles, spanning all the way back to prototypes first made in the 1950s. This is a battle-tested carbine, descending from decades of refinement, history, and of course, action. You may be aware of the very similar N4 or the Colt Model 920. That weapon fires with a 3-round burst. The M4A1 being capable of fully automatic fire is what earns it the A1 designation. No concrete number is available for how many M4A1s exist, but it's safe to say that number is safely in the millions. If not straight from the manufacturing plant, then from conversion kits that turn burst firing N4s into full auto M4A1s. And that brings us into the world of Battlefield 6 in the year of 2027, which sees both the NATO and Pax Armada forces take the weapon into battle, echoing the real-life prevalence of this weapon in armed forces around the world. Before we dive into an overview of the Battlefield 6 M4A1, if you're enjoying your time here, feel free to support this series by taking a second to like and subscribe. Thank you so much in advance. With that out of the way, let's get into the overview. The M4A1 fires the standard 5.56x45mm NATO cartridge. Battlefield 6's Pick 100 weapon customization system is vast, so let's see what options are available for the M4A1. Magazine sizes are standard. You can pick from 20, the default 30, 36, or 40 round magazines. Fast mag equivalents are available with the notable exception of the 36 round mag, which does not have a fast mag equivalent. Reload times are quick. Without the mag catch or fast magazines, you're looking at reloading in 2.2 seconds, or 2.40 seconds when reloading from empty. The amount of rounds your magazine can carry does not change this. Using just the mag catch but regular magazines, you're looking at 2.07 seconds, or about 2.27 when empty. This is a 0.13 second improvement. Using just fast mags, it reloads at 1.95 seconds, or 2.15 seconds when empty. About a quarter of a second improvement. Using both, however, and you can get reloads down to 1.83 seconds, or about 2.07 seconds when empty. This is blistering fast on what is likely the second fastest among the primary weapons. I believe only the PW7A2 in the SMG category can beat this by also equipping the same 2 attachments that speed up reloads. But anyway, back to the M4A1. Sight selection is plentiful, covering your various red dots, holographics, thermals, and even longer range optics that go up to a 5 times magnification. Canted sights are available, but they will be a niche pick with this weapon, more detrimental than helpful. Onto barrels. By default, a 12.5-inch mid-barrel is available and equipped, increasing the speed at which you can aim down sights, or ADS. The 14.5-inch carbine barrel is next, labeled extended in-game. This is the barrel that you typically see on an M4A1. You can enjoy higher projectile velocity and ADS speed by having it equipped. The short barrel, a 11.5-inch commando barrel, which features better hipfire and ADS speed, but bullet velocity is cut down by about 18%. Doing this makes the weapon appear more like a Colt Model 933, or better known as the M4 Commando, with its 11.5-inch barrel. Last but not least, a light fluted variant of the 12.5-inch barrel, improving ADS and ADS accuracy, Curiously, it uses the same model as the 11.5-inch barrel, which to me appears as an oversight by the developers. Ergonomic attachments include the mag flare, letting you reload while aiming down sights. The mag catch, which cuts down reload times by 0.13 seconds as previously mentioned. And the match trigger, allowing for better performance in semi-auto. Not something I'd recommend equipping with the M4A1, but it is available. Other attachments are of course your assortment of lasers to improve hipfire spread, barrel attachments to aid with recoil or suppress your visibility when firing, the flashlight to blind enemies up close also helps with hipfire, and various under-barrel attachments. This includes grips, bipods, and the option to mount your grenade launcher gadget as an underbarrel. On to damage. This weapon excels the most in CQC situations. The damage numbers will be reflecting that. The M4A1 is what I'd categorize as a low to medium damage weapon. Making up slightly for that is the fact that it fires at a respectable 900 rounds per minute. The game puts its damage as 25 per bullet in its stat screen. So when you're very close to an enemy, you can take down opponents in 4 bullets to the chest or 3 bullets to the head. But when I say up close, I mean really up close. Approximately 7 meters and below close. This damage quickly falls off, and by 10 meters you're looking at more like 5 bullets to the body and 4 bullets to the head to land a successful kill. Testing at a more extreme range of 70 meters, you're looking at 6 bullets to the body and 5 to the head. The recoil is somewhat manageable, but still requires some control. Full auto fire will incur low to moderate recoil that will push the weapon up and to the right. Due to the low damage at range, it would be wise to try and avoid situations where you have to take long-range firefights with this weapon. You can still do so, of course, but even when tap or burst firing the weapon to minimize recoil as well as bloom, competent enemies at range using weapons that either perform better at range or just keep their bullet damage at range, well, let's just say the firefight will be in their favor. The same cannot be said when you bring the fight to them. Short to medium range engagements will be where the M4A1 shines, and it shines bright. With damage numbers out of the way, time to look at your bullet options. Like other weapons of similar qualities, you have penetration, which helps damage when shooting through objects that bullets can pierce. Lightweight improves ADS speed, and flangeable will reduce health regeneration for enemies you've wounded. You may have noticed I skipped hollow point, so let's unpack it now. Improving headshot damage. These bullets could be helpful with this weapon, provided you can stomach the 20-point cost. Only changing the headshot multiplier from 1.35 times the base damage to 1.50, up close the changes are not too noticeable. Pre-headshots to kill are still only up to around 7 or 8 meters, and by the time you hit 10 meters, it's back to 4. However, this 4 headshot kill potential remains at 20 meters, 35 meters, and even up to 70 meters. A little after that, it's back to 5 shots to the head to kill. Some final notes on the M4A1. Owing to the fact that it is in the Carbine category, it is not a signature weapon for any of the classes. This means no extra benefit for using it in the game's 4 classes. And finally, just like the last weapon that was covered, that being the M433, not using a grip or mounting a laser means the soldier will wield the gun while aiming down sights in a way that obscures a little bit of the sight picture when using iron sights and other lower magnification optics. This is easily fixed by mounting a grip, a laser, or both. Options that you will most likely be running anyway. As detailed and hinted at, the M4A1 performs best by playing to its strengths of being a fast reloading, hard-hitting weapon in close quarters combat. My builds and playstyle with this weapon reflected this philosophy. Equipping a laser to reduce hipfire spread, running on just the iron sights or a low magnification red dot or holographic, and reducing the reload speed to one of the lowest in the game, the M4A1 can make for a brutal CQC fighter in the right hands. Equipping a suppressor is recommended to remain stealthy, and while it does impact hipfire spread, a good laser will more than make up for the hipfire penalty. Taking advantage of how fast you can make reloads with this weapon means you're back up and running faster, which reduces the possibility of an enemy catching you at an inopportune time. The M4A1 excels when you close the distance between you and your foes. Avoid long-range firefights where in most cases, you will be tipping the scales of favorability towards the enemy. Prioritizing CQC engagements means you can remain in full auto fire and exploit the weapon's strengths. You could try and make the M4A1 work in longer ranges. Hollow point rounds can claw back a lot of the otherwise lost damage when hitting enemies in the head, and the weapon can equip sights with up to a 5 times magnification. But the truth is, there are simply better options elsewhere if that's the experience you're looking for. One of the goals of these guides isn't to provide an exact meta build, but to give insight on how to approach your very own gun build. In any case, here's my current M4A1 build as a starting point, should you need it. This has been my overview of the M4A1. This weapon was enjoyable in Battlefield 6's open beta, and it makes me happy to say it remains enjoyable in the full release. While maybe not as dominant as it was in the open beta, due to the now variety of weapons available in the full release, it is still a very solid choice, especially when built the right way. It might not be your best ally in long-range situations, but bring the fight up close and personal, and you will see why the M4A1 will be your A1 choice. Join me next week when we take a look at the first submachine gun of Battlefield 6, the SGX. If you enjoyed this briefing, you may also enjoy the previous one, where we took a look at one of the first guns available in Battlefield 6, the M433 assault rifle. In any case, thank you for watching.